Calaroga Shark Media.
Here's the deal. If you like Seth Meyers, you're going to like today's podcast. If you don't like Seth Meyers, hit 30-second skip, 10, 12 times. I got a lot of Seth today. Hi, I'm Johnny Mac with your Daily Comedy News. Seth Meyers' Dad Man Walking, out tonight, 10 p.m. on HBO. Yeah, they're still doing that thing where they think I'm going to sit around till 10 o'clock and then watch the thing live. That's over, HBO. What planet are you on? Just put it up. Seth Meyers' Dad Man Walking dives into Meyers' personal life with stories about raising 3 children, living in New York City, and reflections on his family dynamics. Seth did like a group press conference rather than individual interviews. Vulture had a recap of that. He told a story about laughing hard at SNL table reads. He said Andy Samberg once did a Meet the Press sketch where Beetlejuice was filling in for David Gregory as the host. It was such a bald attempt by Andy to do his Beetlejuice impression on SNL. I laughed very hard, and I think Lorne laughed not at all. Toughest hosting gig to kill at. He said, weirdly, the Emmys was the toughest. I thought the ESPYs would be really tough, but the fun thing about the ESPYs, I realized that no one there actually cares if they win an ESPY or not. So if you have good jokes about sports, you can crush, whereas at the Emmys, I felt a tightness there. Dumbest weekend update joke. Seth, I will tell you the dumbest joke that definitely didn't work. A man in Washington State was arrested for animal cruelty after he was caught having sex with a family dog. Even worse, it was makeup sex. Seth says, what I love about that's a good joke. What I love about that joke is every time I tell it, no one groans until the punchline. So even after sex with the family dog, the audience is still like, okay, we'll hear the man out. The delayed groan is why I will never tire of telling that very dumb punchline. Best Lorne Michaels advice. Seth, when I started late night, he said, it'll take you 18 months to figure it out. I thought that was too much time, but he was 100% right. I think it was almost 18 months to the day that I realized I shouldn't be standing for the monologue. He maybe has a reputation for being an impatient person, but I think he does appreciate the process and that you sometimes need to learn by doing. Worst Lorne Michaels advice. Seth, my first summer on SNL, he told me that I should take tap dancing lessons because he thought that would give me more confidence as a performer. In fact, it was so important he told someone else to tell me. I never took those tap lessons, but maybe I should now and do something special for him at the 50th. Ultimate Andy Samberg writing hack. Have him say a very dumb thing with total confidence. Ultimate Amy Poehler writing hack. She's very funny when she's frustrated and trying to convince people she's right. Most effective trick to make a boring talk show guest seem interesting. If you can project to an audience that you're listening, they'll also want to listen. You can't get caught looking like you're thinking about your next question. Most important lesson he learned about running a writer's room. If you're rewriting anything, don't pitch lateral moves. If a writer's put all his time into writing a piece and they have a joke, you can pitch a joke if it's twice as good, but if it's as good, they'll probably want to use their own joke. Seth was asked if he will participate in the 50th anniversary of SNL. Let me answer for him. Yeah, like he's not going to go. What kind of question is that? Seth said, I just officially received my first reach out from Lorne saying, would you be available in February? Should we need a hand? Seth was on Andy Cohen's show and was asked to rank his top 5 favorite SNL characters, a list with which I really disagree. Seth's list number 5, Rachel Dratch's Debbie Downer. 4, Eddie Murphy's Buckwheat. That is a good choice. 3, Kate McKinnon's Colleen Rafferty. 2, Will Forte's MacGruber. And number 1, Bill Hader's Stefan, a character I never got. Did you listen to Stavros Halkias on Neil Brennan's Blocks podcast? Stavros said, I don't know if you have this, but I definitely had the it's going to end tomorrow disease of like from the first time I started doing well and started making money. I was like, we're going to lose all our subscribers tomorrow. And then I got a little internet heat, but no one's going to watch my special to like, all right, the YouTube special did well, but no one's going to watch the Netflix special. I could sell out comedy clubs, but I don't think my agents are wrong. I'm not going to sell theaters. And it's like, I just finally allowed myself to be like, you're fine. Pretend it's a different guy's career that you're analyzing. It's not going to fall apart tomorrow. And so once I kind of did that, I was like, okay, I don't have to say yes to everything. I'll only do stuff that I think is cool from now on. Like I'll do my own stuff and I'll do anything that's cool, but I've turned down a couple, like some acting stuff. I've turned down some other opportunities because I'm like, I just don't want to do it. I just want to hang out. I recognize that I kind of won a generational lottery of like a guy with my skill set born 5 years earlier, hosed. Born 5 years later, I'm trying to make man on the street TikToks. You know what I mean? But I was in the sweet spot where we might have been the first comedy podcast on Patreon, comped down when we started. And it was like, I just got in on podcasting. I thought podcasts were dead. I had the wrong business. I was like, well, Marin, This American Life, Comedy Bang Bang, those are the only ones. And then, thank God, we were wrong. Joe Rogan on his podcast said, I remember the first check I got, a real check. I got a development deal from Disney of all people. I guess I was like 26, and it was the first time I ever had a good chunk of money, like 6 figures in the bank. And I felt like the weight lifted off me, like a physical feeling, because my whole life I was like, how am I going to eat? How am I going to pay my rent? Then all of a sudden, I don't have to worry about that anymore. Cristela Alonzo is upset with a comedy venue in her hometown of McAllen, Texas. She shared a story on Facebook as Cristela tells it. She was backstage at the local theater, and then the staff kicked her out at midnight. She was in the middle of a meet and greet. Her family was there. She said there was no warning that she needed to leave by midnight. She had to pack up everything and ask her fans to meet her outside the building. That's awkward. Alonzo posted, "The disrespect is something I'll never forget. Then once we were outside taking pictures, they came to apologize and said we could go back inside. No, thank you. I will not go back inside when you forced us to leave. I will not go back inside that building again. I don't know when I'll come back to McAllen, but I'm going to have to figure out another solution. The fans were great. The venue sucked." Sounds to me like a junior staffer was enforcing the midnight rule and not knowing how to deal with talent didn't look the other way. That would be my guess. I did see a recap of J.D. Vance with Theo Vaughn. They talked about cocaine. Theo said, "I don't know if it'd be sober if this stuff weren't killing people, to be honest with you. I know that's sad to say, but it keeps me out of the risk of it." JD said, "Makes it a little scarier." Theo, "Yeah, but it's also sad that somebody, I mean, this is ridiculous to say, but, you can't even do cocaine in this country anymore, And that seems like a crazy thing to say, and don't say that, but I said it." JD laughed and told Theo he was going to steal that line, but after the election, I've got to win first. As I keep mentioning, it's going to be hard not to do politics these next 10 days or so. Are you in Texarkana? I hear it's a good place to drive a truck and a Trans Am, bring some Coors back east. Jay Leno's there tonight. Jay said, "It's just a comedy show. There's no lecturing. There's no here's what I think. Rodney Dangerfield and I were friends for 40 years. I have no idea if Rodney was a Republican or Democrat. I had no idea. We just used to talk about jokes, and that's what I'll be doing. No obscenities or anything like that." While in town, he's serving as the Grand Marshal for the 4 States Auto Museum's annual Fall Auto Show. Jay said, "So I'm one above normal marshals. I'm the Grand Marshal, which of course I have the right to arrest or detain anyone for any reason at any time." He says he enjoys hanging out with fellow car enthusiasts. You know what? When you're in California, you meet like 1 or 2 guys and they each have like 100 cars. And when you go to Texas, Oklahoma, you meet one guy who's had a car he's been working on since he got married, and he put it away when the kids went through school, and the kids are in college now. So now he's back working on that 57 Chevy. So it's kind of fun. I really enjoy it. If you're in Texarkana, the auto show today from 8 to 4. Carlos Mencia told Denver's 630 KHOW, "If you're easily offended, please leave. It's because I care. I care about your time. I care about you. I care enough to know that I'm not for you. That's who I am." Once you buy into it, it's such a beautiful cathartic thing to watch everybody just give into the laughter and see the difference between comedy and anger, between racial and racist. All this stuff becomes comedic fodder, and I think that's where I'm living right now, and I think people need that. People need to be told, you're not a bad person because you laugh. It's a mechanism that we use. The host brought up Dave Chappelle's war against the woke. Mencia said, "Think about the phrase itself, punching down. It assumes or presumes that you either place me above those people or I do, and I don't understand punching down. I don't get it. When I do my jokes about me or my family, it's okay. Self-deprecating humor can be just as hurtful sometimes as anything else. I can go up there and talk about how I'm overweight, but the minute I talk about how you're overweight, that's where the line gets crossed, and that's the hypocrisy. We, the truth tellers, are needed. We're also the valve for people who are angry, who are taking life a little too seriously." And that is your comedy news for today. If you enjoy the program, tell a friend about it. They may like it too. If you would like the show without commercial interruption, you're on Apple Podcasts. Phone's in your hand. Click that banner. 30-day free trial. After that, it's $4.99 a month. You get this show and all the other stuff on the network, like Ballot, political stuff. Who doesn't like political humor? 5 Good News Stories, which I host. Palace Intrigue. You like making fun of Meghan Markle? I know the writer of that show sure does. Ha ha ha. See you tomorrow.